or giants. At this very early stage of development, I'm going to be putting a lot of effort into filling up the paper. There are guiding principles to this world that we just don't know yet, and it would be unrealistic to think that we can figure all of those principles out first before we start drawing. In most cases, we won't know them until we see them. So each of these Nephilim are attempts to fill in some portion of the dead god's canvas. The collision between them and the other designs that are already done may just start to cause some sparks. I'll begin with the Gladiator. I pictured this character as being the grand finale of each arena fight, sent in to gloriously dispatch any and all living things that remain. This guy isn't a slave, he's always been free. He fights to be worshipped. I like this bull-headed minotaur from the Time Bandits movie and wanted to create something similar with an antediluvian creature. 3 different versions were pitched to my dragons on Patreon: a Triceratops, Stegosaurus, and a Mammoth. The winner, resoundingly, was the Triceratops. It wasn't particularly close. The big challenge here was making him intimidating. Honestly, I did it to myself. The 3 animals I chose aren't predators after all. Giving him a Triceratops face made him look too sympathetic. To make him seem more unsettling, I created this perforated fencing mask design. A simple metal mask with a crest covered in pinholes to allow him to see. The 3 horns begin to look more like an abstract weapon in this context. He gets a Triceratops-shaped shield with 3 spikes on the front, a sharpened spike on the bottom, and a blade all around the edge of the crest. For his main weapon, he carries a huge tusk that can be used mainly as a club, and also to gore people and creatures at the crescendo of his fights. He's a fan favorite in the pit, which has led to a substantial fortune. While he mostly dresses for the fight, he does proudly wear a necklace of trophies and expensive trinkets. His Triceratops skin cape provides a surprising amount of protection. For him, it's the perfect balance between protection and exposure. Of course, the practical thing would be to cover himself in armor, but since when is anyone purely practical? No, this fighter has centuries of scars to show off. There's no way he's covering up what he's earned. His tapestry of battle scars marks him as the Triceratops when he's out of the arena. Inside the arena, they have the added psychological benefit of making him look invincible to his opponents. Next is the Builder, or Sculptor. He's brought in for particularly important jobs. His scale and strength allow him to work quickly, and his centuries of experience have made him the ideal leader of a team of human builders. While I think most of the Nephilim's own structures will lean heavily on using wood, for reasons I'm going to explore in a future video, he's often called in for his delicate touch with sacred stone sculptures intended for worship. He dresses more like a priest than a construction worker, wearing silk robes made of enough expensive material that they could clothe 20 men. On his belt hang plumb lines, weights on strings used to find perfect vertical lines. It's been centuries since he's even needed them, as his high skill level means he can find perfect verticals by feel alone. They've become more of a symbol of his trade, almost ceremonial. He has a large pair of calipers tucked into his belt for measurement and proportion. He's reached the point of experience where he needs far less tools to do his job well. He's also reached the point of experience that on his feet he wears sandals with steamed wood curved over to protect his toes. Doesn't matter how many centuries you have under your belt, stuff will always fall on your feet and you never get used to it. On his pointer finger he wears a ring with a piece of charcoal mounted on it. This allows him to work freely with his 6 fingers and quickly make necessary markings without always having to reach elsewhere. It especially helps him to avoid having to carry a messy pouch full of charcoal that's always going to get charcoal dust everywhere. The ring method keeps things nice and clean. He's covered in sacred geometry tattoos. While his talent allows him to sculpt intricate idols for all kinds of false gods, he and his order believe that they can wrestle the secret keys of the universe away from the Creator through the mastery of geometry. The Madam. 2 points first. Point number 1, I'm having a ton of fun with this project, but regular drawing practice is important, essential. Rather than pause working on dead gods to do some much-needed figure practice, I've had some of these Nephilim pull double duty. They're part design, but also part anatomy refresher. Point number 2, I want this project to be accessible for young adult audiences. When I think of who this project is for, it's for me, but at 13. This story is set before a cataclysm that is a direct result of the world's depravity. There's a certain amount of grit required to convey a setting like this properly. With that in mind, the Madam is a high-ranking member of the oldest profession. Her heart has become hardened after centuries of this line of work. You do not want to end up on her bad side. In the antediluvian world, a major hazard of their work is disease. I'm imagining people have heightened immune systems, but bacteria and viruses have risen to the arms race challenge. While many have been treated through the revealed knowledge of the Watchers and the expertise of long-lived human experts, some still run rampant. The Madam covers one half of her face in an expensive silk cloth to hide the effects of an infection. She has lost most of the fingers of her left hand and hides them with bronze finger caps. Her entire right hand is gone, replaced with a threatening draconic hand. Around her neck she wears a few of the skulls of humans she's crossed paths with. They help to make sure people pay what they owe. The bronze dagger that's as long as a human's leg tucked into her sash also helps. I also designed a couple of the ladies working under her roof. They're doing what they can with jewelry, fine fabrics, fresh wrappings, and in this case a precious jade mask and a wig to hide their afflictions. The warrior. War is a constant in this world. Hundreds of kings endlessly fighting over fields, cities, nations, you name it. I wanted to explore a super Goliath, the kind of imposing figure you bring out to strike fear in the hearts of the enemy. Again, pure practicality is not what they're interested in. They'll sacrifice some mobility for the sake of terrorizing their opponents. I wanted this to look like a living idol to the god of war. He's bigger than most other Nephilim, a giant among giants. In this first sketch, I gave him a scale mail skirt made of enemy shields, and a giant shield made to look like a spiked stockade wall. For the helmet, at this scale, I like the idea of it being made like a huge bronze bell, with some extra decorative elements added. This first pass still felt too slapped together, so I tried to unify it more. For this one, I made the helmet even more obviously bell-like, with a huge, threatening mouth in it. For this shield, I tried a version that was just a big, terrifying dragon face. To make him feel more like a tower, I gave him a protective cape, and then liked the idea of adding a ladder into it for his shoulder archer. For this third attempt, I was thinking of making it look more like an immense idol. I liked the unified shapes in the sword mail skirt in this one. Looking at all three together, I tried to pick out which parts of each I liked the most, to see if I could combine them. For this last version, I tried to unify the overall shape language, starting with the shield. It has that arc with a scary dragon face carved into it. I really like that He-Man chest medallion, so I kept that too. His shoulder armor shares the arcing shape language, and I had to keep the ladder cape. It helps to give him a sense of scale. I tried to make sure that the bell-shaped helmet echoed the same shape language in the shield and shoulder. The shield mail skirt, while not unique territory in the world of giant design, was also too good not to keep. So here's the second batch of Nephilim all together. And here are all of the giants together. This is a lot to stew on. Thanks for watching. If you like where Dead Gods is headed, you can be a part of it by simply liking the video, telling me which giant is your most or least favorite so far and why. You can also become a part of this project by supporting it on Patreon. Thanks to my dragons for voting for the Triceratops. I genuinely thought the Stegosaurus was going to take it. Finally, you can pick up a copy of my personal art book or my previous story, Tellurion, which should give you some kind of idea where Dead Gods is heading. In fact, I have something to show you. Everyone sit still, someone get the lights, and let me just... Which button does the... Or is it plugged? Change input. Who wants to bring the TV back to the room?